What up, everybody? Welcome to Nerd Report. My name is Lewis. It's been a very beautiful day, at least outside where I'm looking at, as far as fires are concerned in LA. There's been a few updates. We're going to go over them right now and then see where it's at. I'm sure there's a lot of places that are not experiencing the kind of weather I am over here, but it's definitely good news. I don't think the winds hit as hard as they were saying, but that's a great thing. But I am going to have a few other updates, and then meanwhile, I'm going to have a poll asking if Mayor Bass and Gavin Newsom should resign. What do you guys think? Have they won you over with this event? I'm going to put the poll up for our subscribers. Let's go over this. Let me know if you can hear it when it comes on. Hear that music? Sound check with the music. All right, let's see what. Let me know if you guys got your notifications.
Los Angeles County, City, One Voice press conference here at the Kenny Hahn Hall of Administration. My name is Anthony Maroney. I am the Fire Chief of the County of Los Angeles Fire Department, and I will provide an Eaton fire update. The Eaton fire remains estimated at 14,117 acres with 45% containment. We know that over 7,000 structures are damaged or destroyed, and we have 3,392 firefighting personnel assigned to the incident. 45% of our damage inspections for the Eaton fire have been completed. Impacted residents may visit recovery.lacounty.gov to view maps showing damage assessments. Please note that these maps are being updated daily. Critical fire weather conditions will continue through this evening. The anticipated 70-mile-an-hour winds have yet to materialize. However, this could change, and we are still at risk. I want to remind and ask our unhoused neighbors to not...
Homeless, man. Stop with your PC garbage. You fix the problem, not the word.
Fires in wildland brush areas. Any persons experiencing homelessness should seek housing or shelter through the county or city of Los Angeles. Finally, donations. I have heard that there are organizations that are asking for donations for my LA County firefighters. Please be advised that the LA County Fire Department does not yet have a mechanism to accept donations. We have staff working on a process to accept donations over the internet for our LA County Fire Department. I ask that those wanting to donate hold off until we have a...
Real quick, I do want to address something Heather Whatever said. I got an app that's giving me the crime statistics in LA. There's a lot. Heather Whatever says that she's saying right here, stop lighting trash cans on fire. There's a lot of trash cans being lit on fire in LA. I had no idea. This is like an epidemic. Lisa Boo, thanks for the support. Much love. All affected by the fires. Thank you, Lisa Boo. But yes, there's a lot of trash fires in the trash. Trash cans lit on fire. It's weird. I get like 6 reports on my app. There's probably one right now.
Guarantee the funds benefit our personnel. We will release a press briefing when we have that system up and running. And please do not let these despicable scammers take advantage of your generosity. I would now like to introduce Jerry Magana, Deputy Incident Commander, CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 2.
Good morning, Jeremy Gandhi, Deputy Incident Commander for the Incident Management Teams on the Palisade and Eaton incidents. In the past 24 hours, there's been little to no fire growth on both incidents. As Chief mentioned, the DINS inspections continue to occur, as well as USAR operations. Crews continue to strengthen the fire perimeter, extinguishing hotspots, utilizing ground resources and resources alike. Both incidents have requested the WIRT and BEAR reports, which are soil severity tests that will be completed by the end of the incident. And we continue to pre-position resources with a current mobilization center in Beaumont, which is in Riverside County, for any new starts that could potentially affect the area. CAL FIRE will continue to support our partners in Unified Command, and we thank you for your patience during this time. For the most current fire information, please go to fire.ca.gov. And next up, I would like to introduce LA City Fire Chief.
Good morning, everyone. Kristen Crowley, Los Angeles City Fire Department's Fire Chief. Yesterday, I want to just give everybody a brief update on an additional brush fire that did break out in the Lakeview Terrace area of Los Angeles with structures that were threatened. Firefighters responded and aggressively attacked this fire. I am pleased to report that within approximately 34 minutes, all forward progress was stopped with no damage to any of the structures. I'll now be providing you an update on our Palisades fire. This fire is 23,713 acres with 19% containment, with 5,104 personnel assigned to the incident. Firefighters observed 30 to 40 mile per hour winds with low humidity. When you look at the aerial view of the Palisades fire, you may not be able to tell, but however, infrared flights last night indicated there are still numerous hot spots burning within the fire footprint.
Yeah, under the brush.
Very close attention was paid to address any flare-ups swiftly as to prevent any fire spread outside of the perimeter. We understand also, just a message to the community and those that were impacted by these fires, we understand your desire to return to your community. However, significant safety and infrastructure issues remain, including downed power lines, broken gas lines, hazardous materials, and unsafe water. Please know that we are working diligently to address these challenges and ensure your safety and the safety of our first responders. As we enter into the third day of this additional wind event, I urge everyone to stay alert. The combination of low humidity and strong winds has further dried out the brush, increasing the risk of fire. The danger has not yet passed, so please prioritize your safety. Thank you. I would now like to introduce our next speaker, Sheriff Luna.
Good morning, Robert Luna, Sheriff of Los Angeles County. The Sheriff's Department, LA County Sheriff's Department, continues to have well over 1,000 personnel assigned. Again, many on 12-hour shifts, many without days off. Really want to thank the California Highway Patrol. They've contributed even more officers in the last 24 hours. There are well over 300 officers who are helping on both incidences. The Drug Enforcement Administration has also contributed even more special agents that are assisting us in different incidences. They're close to about 30. We are now close to or well over 900 National Guards, California National Guard, that are assisting us both for the LA County Sheriff's Department, the Los Angeles Police Department, and other law enforcement agencies here in California. Evacuation orders, they've gone down some. We are at 82,400 in our LA County jurisdiction, and warnings are up just a little bit because of the wind event to 90,400. In regards to a curfew, the curfew still is in effect from 6 p.m. To 6 a.m. I just want to make sure everybody understands that the rules haven't changed. If you don't belong there, you don't live there, stay out of there. There's no reason for you to be there, and you will be subject to arrest if you're there with no business. In regards to arrest, we had a few more arrests overnight. The total for LA County Sheriff's jurisdiction is now at 44. That's 36 arrests in the Eaton incident and 8 for the Palisades incident. Eaton total, well, I won't go into detail, but basically we stand at about 14 for burglary within those jurisdictions. Everything else is either curfew, trespassing, individuals that are possessing narcotics and or guns. Last night, I do want to bring it to your attention that in our Palisades incident, we did arrest another individual for impersonating a firefighter. Somebody else who was dressed like a fireman was not a fireman. I got to give a lot of credit to our deputies for being proactive, stopping them and arresting him. That investigation will continue. Search and rescue operations. Our search and rescue teams have completed approximately 78% of the search area in Altadena. That is an estimate of 5,516 properties. I'm hoping with luck, maybe by the end of today, maybe tomorrow, that will be done. Yesterday, we started the same operation in the Palisades area. Evacuation zones lifted, Palisades 0. Eaton, we did lift 2. So we're communicating the best we can with our partners and our residents to make sure that they can get back in there. And please, as a reminder, our repopulation conversations do continue with every meeting. But please remember, just because there isn't a fire, the chiefs have made it very clear that we're still having some challenges with the wind. So we've got to keep a close eye on things. But in talking to our partners at Public Works and Utilities, there are things you can't see that are underground. There's a lot of hazards. So those are things that are going to have to be evaluated hour by hour, day by day, so that we can make sure that when we start allowing our community members back to their homes, that they are safe. Safety is always absolutely number one. In regards to deaths in the Los Angeles County Sheriff's jurisdiction, we still stand at 21. If you've been following the numbers I've been giving out, they've stayed static for 2 days now, even though the searches continue, at least in the Altadena area. So 21 deaths, bad news. No more deaths so far. That's good news. So I'm praying that stays together. And then missing persons, that did increase a bit. But I want to know that originally we had 31 missing person reports that were taken. Thank God, 5 of them were found safe. But we still have 26 active missing persons that are reported, 20 in the Eaton area and 6 in the Palisades area. And then as I conclude, if you want any more specific information regarding evacuation orders or warnings, if they're coming or going, road closures, or any other information that you think is important to you and your family, please go to lacounty.gov/emergency. I'd like now to introduce Jim McDonald, the chief of the Los Angeles Police Department.
By the way, thank you for all the new subscribers. Introduce yourself in the comments. Take a chance to subscribe. Top right-hand corner, subscribe button. Among the other, I'm going to continue with this, but among the other updates, federal and local authorities formed task force to combat crime related to wildfire. A few of the headlines I'm going to read, all right? Little Mountain fire breaks out, spreading at a rapid rate, all right? Dennis Quaid calls for Karen Bass to resign over handling of wildfire. State Farm reportedly has canceled Super Bowl ads. Cities cites California wildfire. So they've canceled their ads on the Super Bowl. Kim Kardashian, I guess, is asking for an increase in pay for inmates who are firefighters. And this is weird. Danny Trejos, who's Machete, I think he was in prison for a while. Right now, he responds by saying, right now, as far as inmates getting paid, pros, cons, whatever, it's like right now, Kim, worry about people that lost everything. You still have everything. So he's kind of bashing her, like, shut the, you know what up. Over 100 arrests have been made during the wildfire, probably more than that. 2 more firebugs, which are arson, I guess, charged as LA new tough on crime DA heats up fight against looters and arsonists. So the DA is actually proactive here, so that's a good thing. Los Angeles wildfire destroys Hunter Biden's artwork worth millions. Air quality alerts issues a harmful level of wind blowing dust and ashes. So be careful with the wind. Wear the mask if you have to go outside. And that's just a few of the headlines here. All right, let me keep going with this press conference.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning. Over the last week, you've heard me say that the LAPD remains committed to protecting lives, safeguarding property, and maintaining order in the areas affected by the fire, and that remains the case today. The LAPD remains on tactical alert, and we've dedicated whatever resources are necessary to provide for your safety. LAPD officers are actively patrolling the areas around the clock and protecting your properties like they are our own. Our efforts include enhanced visibility in evacuation zones and neighborhoods where houses and businesses are vacant, deploying marked and unmarked vehicles as well as foot patrols to ensure a strong presence and a swift response to any issues that arise. Our deployment, we understand the frustration and concern many of you are feeling regarding the fire evacuation and the restrictions on returning to your homes. Please know that our officers and National Guard personnel are following the directions of the Unified Command, which is working tirelessly to ensure the safety of everyone involved. We're committed to continuing our discussions with the Unified Command to assess when it will be safe for residents to return. Your safety remains our top priority, and we'll provide updates as soon as it is safe to do so. Thank you for your patience and understanding during these very difficult times. For the upcoming 24-hour period, LAPD will continue to deploy roughly 600 officers to the impacted areas with support from LA Airport Police, Port Police, and the National Guard, who have 200 soldiers assigned to the Palisades incident, and we're very grateful for their support. Excuse me. We're also introducing a team of volunteers from an NGO known as Team Rubicon to assist the public at various checkpoints. These humanitarian aid workers will be available at checkpoints to direct residents to resources and answer questions. They'll be wearing gray shirts and are available to inform and support our community. And again, we're thankful to them. On the missing persons front, we continue to dedicate resources to all reports of missing persons. As of this morning, we have 38 people who've been reported missing. 27 of those have been found safe. Of the 11 remaining, 2 most likely have been found deceased, but yet to be positively identified. In total, we have 3 fatalities that are fire-related. 1 person died at the hospital, but had not been reported missing. We still have 8 missing persons remaining.
That sucks.
Arrests, we have no new fire area-related arrests, and we remain at 14. But we'd like to update all of you on 2 notable arrests that were made on January 14th, just outside the fire zone. At approximately 5:15 p.m., officers responded to a radio call near the intersection of Glen Oaks and Van Nuys Boulevard, where a citizen had detained a possible arson suspect. Upon arrival, officers took the suspect into custody, and the citizen had already extinguished a nearby fire in a tree. During the investigation, the suspect admitted to starting the fire because he liked the smell of burning leaves. The suspect was subsequently booked for arson. Later that evening, at about 9:30 in the area of Santa Monica in Vermont, Fire department personnel responded to reports of a suspect setting multiple piles of rubbish and trash on fire. Fire department quickly extinguished the fires and officers took the suspect into custody. Suspect admitted to setting multiple fires that day and stated that she enjoyed causing chaos and destruction. She
The
was also
nerve.
booked for arson. As we continue to manage this historic, catastrophic event, we want to express our gratitude to everyone who has provided tips and remained vigilant in keeping the city safe. Your cooperation is crucial during this time. And you can hear from those two examples I mentioned, there are people out there who this is what they do. If you know of those people, please give us a call before something really bad happens. Excuse me. On the front of pets, we want to update the public on efforts of the city to reunite pet owners with their animals. A new dedicated phone line has been established to specifically assist with inquiries related to pets affected by the fire. If you're looking for your animal in the fire zone affected areas, please call 213-270-8155 for assistance. And in closing, I'm aware that this has now been over a week since many of you have been able to see your homes. I thank you for your patience and continued cooperation. LAPD and our partners here will continue to work alongside each other to make sure our community has the resources we need to recover and ultimately rebuild. Again, thank you. Let me now introduce the Los Angeles District Attorney, Nathan Hochman.
Thanks for all the new subs, folks. Make sure to introduce yourself in the comments.
The
Plus, I'm
work of
sharing our Instagram
firefighters,
in the
law
comments.
enforcement has been nothing short of heroic. The over 200,000 people who've had to evacuated, who have cooperated with this, again, it's been incredibly impressive. Yet still there are people out there who have decided that they are going to take advantage of this tragedy. They're going to exploit this crisis for their own personal benefit. And we have sent this warning, and I'll say it again. The question is not if, but when you will be arrested. You will then be prosecuted, and then you will be punished to the full extent of the law. On Monday, we announced the charging of 10 different individuals, 9 for looting, 1 for arson. Of the 9 individuals, they were involved with both looting in the Palisades fire area as well as the Eaton fire area. They are looking at a minimum, the shortest sentence that anyone charged is looking at is 6 years in prison, 9 years in prison for another individual. We have people who are looking at 22 years in prison and a maximum sentence of life in prison. These are very significant punishments. Justice will be swift. Justice will be significant if you want to take advantage of this tragedy. Following on what Chief McDonald says, we have actually filed charges in 2 additional arson cases. Again, not related to the major fires. There's one that we had charged an individual who set a fire in the city of Industry. He set bushes on fire. He set a pallet on fire. He set the back of a tractor trailer on fire. Those fires were quickly put out. And that individual is looking at 7 years for a maximum prison sentence. Another individual was charged in the city of Irwindale under the I-605 underpass. Again, setting a fire that was quickly put out. That individual is looking at a maximum sentence of 14 years. We have received numerous allegations that we are now following up involving additional looting incidents and price gouging. The price gouging is particularly despicable because these are people who are basically looking at this situation and saying, how can I make the most amount of money from people who are desperately seeking housing, supplies, they're seeking services because they've lost everything. They've lost their houses. And I will tell you that with respect to this price gouging, we have seen people increase their prices for rooms that they are renting, for houses that they are leasing, 100, 200, 300%. Here's my warning. If you're one of these people who have engaged in price gouging, not only do you need to stop it immediately, I would strongly recommend that you go back and fix it. Go back and refund the amount that you have overcharged people. We will certainly take that into consideration in deciding whether or not to charge you. So it's your choice. If you want to actually abide by the law, you could benefit from it right this second. But if we go ahead and find out that you've engaged in price gouging and you've taken no steps to remedy the violation that you've basically enacted, we will go ahead and prosecute you to the full extent of the law. So not only are you going to be looking at criminal penalties,
We have a real
you will
DA
be
now,
looking at
folks, in
civil
LA.
penalties, and as importantly, your name will get out there. Your company's name will get out there. You will be publicly shamed. I want to make that crystal clear. So stop it right now. And as the recovery starts up, we again are seeing the financial scams. Over and over, we are seeing scams involving charities, where people who want to donate either money or services to the recovery effort are being targeted by these scammers. My strong message to you is if this happens, please check the organization that you are donating your money to beforehand. Do not donate cash. Do not even donate Bitcoin because it's very hard to track. Only deal with reputable organizations that you can then check out who will get that money to the appropriate people in need. Same thing when it comes to insurance. Be very careful. There are scammers out there who are going to try and make you promises that they can give you certain benefits from insurance that are completely false. Make sure you check out any insurance claims. And government benefits are starting up now. Both the federal government and the state governments are going to be offering people in need significant dollars to get back and recover in their lives. However, these will be ripped off. I will guarantee you there are people who are looking at this to rip them off. Here again is your warning, because I don't want any discussion later on that there is some confusion of what the consequences are. They will be swift and they will be significant. So again, I wish everyone great safety. Please support the firefighters. Please support law enforcement. Stay out of the evacuation zones. They are designed for your safety and to facilitate these putting out of fires and keeping people's houses safe. If you want to go ahead and violate an evacuation area, violate a curfew, you will be held accountable, you will be arrested, and my office will prosecute you.
Cultural Callout says he smelt something once, it was nasty. So there's a thing going on. I mean, I know this is tragic, but it's kind of a funny side of it. A lot of people have been using the word smelt, which is the fish they're trying to save, or Newsom was allegedly trying to save. That's why he wouldn't, something to do with the reservoirs or the water or whatever, environmental stuff. So everybody around the internet is using the word smelt to replace things, kind of like we did with the drones. Indiana Jones and the Last Smelt Sade, or Raiders of the Lost Smelt, stuff like that. That's what people are doing. So if you're wondering why the word smelt is everywhere, back to the smelt, like that. That's what people are doing. So
Los Angeles County Public Health Chief Deputy Director, Dr. Anish Mahajan.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Nicole Quick. I am the Chief Medical Advisor for the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health. As we continue to deal with the aftermath of fires and residents begin to return to their homes with proper approval from the regulatory agencies, it is important to remain vigilant about air quality. Fire and wind conditions can increase the amount of particulate matter, dust, and ash. Currently, the South Coast Air Quality Management District has extended a windblown dust and ash advisory through this evening. The high winds may displace ash from the Palisades and Eaton fire impact zones. Windblown ash particles may be too large to be picked up by our regular instruments and will not influence the AQI measures that we've pointed folks to look at for air quality. So it's important to look for ash in air and on equipment and on your surroundings to take precautions. To effectively reduce exposure to harmful particles, it is critical to wear appropriate respiratory precautions. This includes N95 and P100 masks. In addition to obtaining the masks, important to wear those correctly. This means over the nose and mouth without gaps and well fitted to your face. For N95 to provide the proper protection, they also must be changed out with regularity and if they become wet or soiled. It is very important to note that cloth masks, dust masks, and bandanas are not adequate protection. While they may provide minimal protection, it is not adequate.
I'm not going to
keep
go
out those
outside.
particulate
I feel
and
like shit.
ash that we are concerned about. Individuals with respiratory conditions, children, and those with pre-existing medical conditions are urged to talk to their healthcare provider before utilizing these respirators. Taking these steps is critical for vulnerable populations, including older adults, children, and those with pre-existing conditions. N95 masks are available for free at LA County libraries and at the local assistance disaster resource centers. Quick note also for those who are struggling with finding their prescriptions, Public Health has begun offering medication assistance at all of the local assistance centers. We have teams there that can work with families and individuals to help them secure medications. Individuals can also connect with their regular providers, their pharmacies, and their health plans for further assistance in obtaining their medications. I want to make a note for those who are receiving medications for opiate use disorder. If you are having difficulty obtaining those, please call 213-288-9090, and we are available from 8 a.m. to midnight to support those needs. In addition to these efforts, there are other resources available to help in your obtaining prescriptions. Want to make one additional note that we do have environmental health inspectors at the local assistance centers that can address concerns related to fire damage and safety. We can assist family in identifying health hazards, provide education, and answer questions about maintaining a healthy environment. I will now hand this over to Supervisor Barker.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. I want to start by emphasizing, especially with the wind we'll have today, that it is important for residents to take health guidance seriously when you're near impacted areas and debris. The health concerns are serious. I've heard many questions about how to be safe when you're around an impacted area. Today, large signs are going up all over Altadena that outline precautions you should take when you're near impacted areas and when you're sorting through debris. The signs will be helpful for residents near burn areas who didn't evacuate, but are still affected by debris and will be in preparation for when evacuated residents will be allowed back into the community. The information is broken up into 3 categories: what to wear, what to do inside, and what to do outside. There's a slide rotating on the screen that shares the important information that will be on those signs. As we recover, it is crucial that our residents have the information they need right here in our community. Yesterday, I had the honor of going to the Disaster Recovery Center at the Pasadena City College Community Education Center on Foothill, and that is exactly what I saw. I went on the opening day of operation, and I was so proud of our county family. I was so proud of the state and the federal who've all stepped up. But more importantly, I was so proud of the residents that showed up. It gave me hope that we are on the road to rebuilding. People weren't saying if I rebuild, it's when I rebuild. Impacted residents who cannot afford for government to build up services slowly, I make you this promise. Our board is united. We are all in. We are going to make it as easy as possible for you to rebuild. And that includes permitting, that includes approval, that includes working with all levels of government to secure low interest loans. It is an all hands on deck. At the center, we also have county departments and federal, state, and local partners in place, as you heard. So if you lost any of your vital records, or you need replacement of your license, they are there to help you and make it as easy as possible. Together, we're bringing every resource to our neighbors in need. Residents can access countless services, including FEMA financial service, which may include money for basic home repairs, personal property losses, and other uninsured disaster-related needs, such as childcare, transportation, or medical need. As county services ranging from the assessor's office to public works to the economic opportunity for employment assistance to the registrar recorder, our county stands ready to serve you. It was heartening to see that so many impacted residents still have hope and actually light throughout this darkness. I'd like to give a special thanks to the countless volunteers who are sacrificing their time and resources to make this happen. Overall, I received such positive feedback from the residents who were there receiving services. And you know who you are. You came up to me and talked to me about how fearful you are about what the future has in store. And I made you this promise, and I will honor this promise. You have a future in Altadena, and we are going to come back stronger than ever. Our centers are open every day from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and we are going to get through this together. With that, I would like to introduce LA City Mayor Karen Bass.
All right, here comes the mayor. What
Good
would you
morning,
ask her,
everyone.
folks? Let me know in the comments.
As we know, we are still
Also, subscribers, we have a poll. Should she resign? Her and Newsom, should they resign? Let me know in the comments.
and so I would just encourage
You have a future in Altadena, and we are going to come back stronger than ever. Our centers are open every day from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and we are going to get through this together. With that, I would like to introduce LA City Mayor Karen Bass.
good morning, everyone. As we know, we are still not quite out of the woods. And so I would just encourage and implore upon all Angelenos, please take the warning seriously and the evacuation notices seriously. And frankly, if you are in an area where there is a warning, get prepared now, get packed, take everything you need with you, your medications and your pets, if that is possible. If you are looking for a pet, you can call a new number that was mentioned by Chief McDonald, 213-270-8155, 213-270-8155. We've received many inquiries from individuals who are concerned about where their pets are. So please take advantage of that telephone number. We know the winds were lower than expected yesterday, but we also know from the National Weather Service that we are still facing dangerous conditions. I want to thank Governor Newsom on his work yesterday on price gouging and scams. We're taking this seriously and have made it so Los Angeles residents can report price gouging by calling a number with the city, 311. Scams are also spreading, which is why it is so important to use trusted sources for assistance. On the positive side, the Disaster Recovery Center in West LA did a soft opening yesterday. It was open just for about 4 hours, and in those 4 hours, over 100 households came. It was encouraging to see the number of people who were there, many of whom travel from disaster to disaster. I met individuals from the SBA who had been in Hawaii. I met other individuals that had been in hurricanes in the South. Department of Motor Vehicles, FEMA, the Employment Development Department. There are a variety of resources there that people could take advantage of. But I do have to tell you, what was the most touching experience was to meet a woman from Pacific Palisades who had lived in Palisades for over 40 years, and she lost her home. She told me that she was staying with her daughter, and I asked her what kind of services she was looking for there. And she said she wasn't looking for services. She was there to volunteer. Having lost her house, she was there to volunteer. To me, this is an example of the spirit of Los Angeles, selfless and resolute, that we will make it through these fires and we will rebuild. When I think of individuals who have lost their homes, it's not just a matter of losing a house. You've lost memories, family, all of the experiences that took place there are gone, and gone unexpectedly, gone rapidly. So at the same time as we prepare to make it through the rest of this emergency, we also have to start putting in place what we need to do to rebuild. And so I mentioned a couple of days ago, I did an executive order to expedite the rebuilding so those individuals will not have to go through the long waits that are usual. But yesterday, this Los Angeles City Council met and passed a number of motions that will assist in that effort. As Supervisor Barger said, we are one city, we stand together. The city and the county will do everything we can to expedite the rebuilding. If you need any resources, you can go to lacity.gov. I also want to thank the generosity of legitimate philanthropy, because there is legitimate philanthropy out there, and I hope people give generously. The California Community Foundations Fund that now has over 20,000 donations, over $18 million, received a significant contribution last evening from Mayor Rex Richardson from Long Beach, and the people of Long Beach contributed $500,000. This is how we will rebuild our city. We will rebuild our city stronger. Thank you. And let me now introduce Supervisor Lindsay Horvath.
Listen, I think she's going to resign on her own. She's going to admit to being failed. She was, they said she was in Ghana at a cocktail party during this thing. I think she resigns on her own. She admits to messing up and resigns on her own. I don't think Gavin Newsom does, though. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know what country, city, or state you're watching from in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, press 1.
I want to reiterate the particularly dangerous situation today. Get ready now and be prepared to leave. For our county service and school updates, yesterday our board started the process of a county relief program for victims of all fires. There's more information to follow, and we will continue to act swiftly to support our residents. The County 211 wait times are now under 5 minutes. Please use 211 to access county resources and information. Several more LAUSD schools are open today. Palisades Charter Elementary students should attend Brentwood Science Magnet Elementary. Marquez Charter Elementary students should attend Nora Sterry Elementary. You can call the Department of Animal Care and Control at 562-940-6898 to help with pet reunification. LA County Parks are hosting care camps for young people impacted by the fires. You can register at parks.lacounty.gov.
And so many electeds out there.
And there's more information on all recovery efforts throughout the county at recovery.lacounty.gov. Because of the particularly dangerous situation, there may be additional power outages. Please take this opportunity to charge your phones and batteries and to make sure that you are prepared in the event of a power outage. The declaration of emergency countywide has gone into effect and includes illegal price gouging, including on rent and housing options. We cannot raise the price of rent, goods, or services more than 10%. There are both criminal and financial penalties. These are enforced by our district attorney, as you heard, through the county's declaration of emergency. Our county council and our director of consumer and business affairs have the authority to impose civil penalties. And I spoke with our attorney general of the state this morning, who is vigorously investigating cases at his level. We are taking these instances seriously, and there will be consequences. Under our county emergency, we also know that this could include misdemeanor charges. The governor, as you have heard, has also issued a new executive order, and we thank him for his support and leadership. To report price gouging or other predatory practices, You can do so at oag.ca.gov/report.
What are a report taxing the hell out of Californians and and having nothing to show for it? Where do I report that? It's kind of a gouge.
938222. For more emergency updates, you can still see those at emergency.lacounty.gov. And I want to echo the thanks to our first responders, to our volunteers. I also want to especially acknowledge LASA, those who are working in the county's newly established ECRC and our homeless initiative efforts, supporting those who are unhoused in fire danger areas.
Homeless. Changing the word doesn't fix the problem. You see how they all got together to change the name of homeless? They don't fix the problem. They change the word to make it sound nicer somehow.
CP has deployed more than 15,000 people throughout Los Angeles County for all of these fires. We thank each and every person who is helping Angelenos in this critical time. Los Angeles and the state of California have stepped up. We have been supported by people throughout our nation, and together we will recover. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce FEMA Region 9 Administrator Robert Fenton Jr.
Thank you, and good morning. I just want to first give an update on our registrations for our individual assistance program. We're up to 53,000 registered, almost $12 million provided. And yesterday I had the opportunity to visit the UCLA Disaster Recovery Center with Mayor Bass to mark its opening. And as was discussed, a number of federal, state, local, nonprofit organizations there. Survivors impacted by the fire could go there to get many different services. I think there was over 70 different organizations there working to provide help to individuals affected by the disaster. So I would urge individuals to make sure you register with FEMA. If you're insured, go to your insurance first. It's better to register before going to the recovery center, but there are a lot of services there that everyone that's been impacted by the fire should take advantage of. The second thing I want to talk about is our transitional shelter and assistance program, which we just activated last night. The governor has requested that FEMA activate its transitional shelter and assistance program for displaced survivors. I'm happy to announce as of today, this program is now open. The transitional shelter and assistance allows for fire survivors to stay at participating hotels to help fill the housing gap until they can identify a short or longer term housing solution. TSA may also be available for those that have insurance, so it will help if you're in the process of still trying to understand what your insurance covers, or if you have alternate living expense for that. It will be for a limited time, but it will help during that time period in order to make those decisions. FEMA is reaching out to fire survivors that have registered with us that would be eligible for this program. So you don't need to request this type of assistance. If you're eligible, FEMA will notify you via phone, text, or email. Underneath this program, FEMA pays for the cost of the room, taxes, and non-refundable pet fees directly to participating hotels. Survivors are responsible for other ancillary costs like laundry or restaurants, parking, telephone service, etc. TSA is a temporary sheltering program. FEMA will continue to communicate with those in our program every 14 days to determine the need for longer term sheltering and what other resources are available to you. Lastly, I want to talk about the next steps we're taking to start the process toward recovery and rebuilding. The governor has requested that the federal government remove all household hazardous waste from properties impacted by the fires. We had a meeting yesterday with the county, the city of LA, and all the other impacted communities, public works directors. And we have directed the Environmental Protection Agency to do this. And I've allocated $100 million to go ahead and get this started. EPA's mission will be to reduce the immediate threat of hazards. They do this by removing everyday products like paints, cleaners, solvents, oils, batteries, pesticides, larger asbestos debris, and also pressurized fuel cylinders, lithium-ion batteries. EPA will stand up 40 teams over the next couple of days, which equates to approximately 500 personnel. EPA will work in close coordination with the state, county, city, and local communities across the fire areas, including the incident commands of Palisades and Eaton, to remove household hazardous waste. This will be the first step in getting survivors back to their homes and communities by removing those hazards from that area, so that then we can get into greater debris clearing and ultimately rebuilding. Thank you.
Folks, don't forget to subscribe. After this, we have another video. We're going to be running President Joe Biden's farewell speech. We're going to have that right after this in another video. Subscribe right now if you're going to come back to watch that. Make sure that you're sub. There's a button on the top. It says subscribe. Do that right now so we could run that and you all could get notified. Thank you.
Helen Chavez Garcia, Communications Director for Chair Catherine Barger. We thank the Honorable Antonio Vasquez from the State Board of Equalization for being here today. We will now transition to the question and answer portion of our press conference. Please raise your hand. We will bring a speaker to you, and I will call upon you in order to ask your question. Sir, would you like to sit on
Masa Sadie, KCAL News. Masa Sadie, KCAL News. I have two questions. The first is for Mayor Bass. Mayor, 700 people are in shelters right now, more than 700. Thousands of people have lost their homes. I know you are trying to expedite the rebuilding process, but realistically, how long is it going to take for these folks to get a roof over their head? Can you give us a timeline?
I wish that I could give you a timeline. I can't specifically, but what I can tell you is that the people that are in shelters, people are there for a lot of different reasons. I know some of them might be unhoused, but the rebuilding process, we have to set the guidelines and the policies in place, which is what we did, and we will be kicking that off. We have a lot more to do, as I mentioned.
And bullshit like that is because you're going to be unhoused pretty soon, because people don't like that. They want the homeless crisis to be fixed. They don't want stupid politically correct words. No one cares about the words. They want the problem to be fixed. They want you to help those people that, like you promised, man. Instead, we got a new word.
Might be unhoused, but the rebuilding process, we have to set the guidelines and the policies in place, which is what we did, and we will be kicking that off. We have a lot more to do. As I mentioned, the city council met yesterday. We need to put all of those policies together and begin right away. The first step, though, was yesterday, and that was the Disaster Assistance Center for people to get all of their paperwork together, whether they go to the assistance center or not. That is the first step. And I know individuals are talking to their insurance companies, et cetera.
And price gouging, you're talking a lot about price gouging and how it is illegal.
Hold on.
Bidding wars are not.
Hold on.
Actually, the FEMA director wants to respond to you as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. We will be sending personnel from our teams to the shelters to see how many are eligible with our programs, and if we can move into a transition shelter and put in a more safer housing environment into a hotel. So we'll be doing that over the next day or two to help move people to a better situation than the congregate shelters are in right now.
And on the price gouging that we're seeing happening with rentals, again, price gouging is illegal, but bidding wars are not. If the tenants are driving that, we're seeing more and more evidence of these bidding wars. Should people here in Los Angeles be bracing for rents to dramatically increase, or is there anything you can do to try to stabilize the market?
So here's how bidding wars work. If a landlord or someone who's renting out a particular house or room had an original price before the wildfires and the state of declaration occurred, and keeps that original price, but others give him or her additional money to rent, and they take absolutely no action whatsoever to in any way increase that price, then it falls in a gray area. I don't want to say it is 100% legal, but it is a gray area. But if the landlord or the renter or the person renting goes ahead and engages in a discussion amongst different people as to which price they're going to take that is more than 10% ahead, they're engaging in price gouging. So again, what I would strongly, strongly urge anybody who's renting or selling or providing a service is that if you receive more than 10% of the amount that you would have received before these wildfires, you are now entering into the world of price gouging. Your case will get looked at, and if you are found guilty of it, you will be prosecuted.
Thank you. We're going to go right over here.
Hi, this is Kate Cagle with Spectrum News 1. I have a question for Mayor Bass. What was your involvement in emergency preparation in the decision not to deploy up to 1,000 available firefighters last week, given that the National Weather Service was warning about this life-threatening and destructive windstorm? This is in regarding to the reporting in the Los Angeles Times.
This is a good
I
question.
will let Chief Crowley answer that.
I want to be very, very clear in this answer. So, and also offer additional details after. So being very mindful of everybody's time, I want to make sure that you get the information that you need. In regard to the LAFD's position and pre-positioning of our resources, we followed the system in place. The system in place looks at the overall weather and risk. With that, we pre-deployed the resources in very, very calculated ways throughout the city, also not knowing where a fire might start and might not start. I think that's very, very important that everybody understands that. Also, knowing that there was a higher risk than normal in a very high fire, type of a scenario. 5 additional engines were pre-deployed on top of what we normally would do. But again, out of respect for everybody here, I'd like to offer very detailed information to share with everybody as to what and how we pre-deployed and what came into the decisions that we made on that day and then following the fire. I'll be available right after, okay?
And we're going to have,
Mayor Bass, because as mayor of the city, doesn't the buck stop with you as far as emergency preparedness and preparing for the wind event that was forecasted?
The buck always stops with me, but I think you received your answer from the chief.
thank you. Last question over here, and then we will transition to one-on-ones to make
Thank
sure you
you.
get your
Jonathan
answers. Go
Vigliotti
ahead.
with CBS News. My question is, I have one for each of the fire chiefs.
Yeah.
And I just want to start off saying the firefighters, the men and women on the front lines, they are heroes. I say that as a resident and a journalist that has witnessed it firsthand. Chief Crowley, with that said, and forgive me, I'm going to be looking down because there's a little bit of a timeline I want to establish. Because just after 6 p.m. last Tuesday night, as winds were reaching their strongest, many neighborhoods, as you know, were already on fire. This all hands on deck alert to off-duty firefighters was issued.
Right.
You even reached out to local news to ask for help in assisting putting out that call. We did as well. The LA Times, as it's been mentioned, now saying that 1,000 firefighters were on standby. That would have effectively doubled the response. This speaks to chaos and poor planning. You mentioned saying something off camera, but now that you do have this live feed going, you're a straight shooter. Can you please tell me directly why the delay to activate when for many hours, neighborhood after neighborhood was on fire and your firefighters, these heroes, were telling me they felt like they were in the minor leagues?
So I want to echo your sentiments first and foremost with our firefighters and first responders that were dispatched and responded to that incident. Heroic efforts. And I can tell you, I'm sorry?
Were they let down by your leadership?
I will tell you that we followed a system in place, and I will explain my position on this. When it comes to the totality and the risk that can occur in the city of Los Angeles, we do have a system in place. We're very system and process oriented for the right reasons. We follow a system. We did that. We pre-deployed the necessary resources knowing that, or not knowing, I should be very specific, in where a fire might break out in the city. I think it's also very important that media knows, as well as the communities knows, that we are here to protect them, that we do have that capability to surge. You ask about a length of time. We pre-deployed the resources on top of what we normally would do. They went to work. We immediately then utilized all available on-duty, special duty people that aren't normally in the field. They surged. They went and staffed every other available resource at that time. They were pulled in. Another very, very important point that the community and you need to know is that we're talking about these 1,000 engines that we're saying that we're unstaffed. Facts. The facts of the matter is those engines, they're pumps, they go behind our trucks. I won't get too detailed in the operations. They're actually staffed with fire department personnel. The reality, and this is very important for everybody to understand, straight shooter right here, is that our firefighters on the truck were immediately pulled in, whether they were staffed with 4 people. I got to be very clear. We had the capability and we did pull every resource in and around the area. Those firefighters on the truck jump on that additional pump, the truck or the engine that we're talking about, that we're saying we're unstaffed. We are very fortunate as a department to have a resource deployment that we have. I don't think there's any other department in the nation that has the resource deployment model that we have. That happened. Our firefighters jumped on the pumps, our additional 1,000 engines that you're talking about, and they went to work. So we have the system that's built. We followed the system. We surged where we could surge. And in fact, I'll be the first one to stand up and say, yeah, we need help. This was so incredible. We have never seen anything. And to say or to think that the LAFD leadership or whoever we want to point to doesn't care about the communities that we serve, that we don't do everything that we can with the capabilities and the limitations of what we have or don't have. I can tell you and stand before you, we did everything in our capability to surge where we could. We had the flexibility built into the system with.
Had you responded sooner, had you activated those reserves sooner, could you have saved more neighborhoods and more lives?
I would think fundamentally, as we surged exactly how we did, our firefighters pushed in, they did everything that they could, and it's a what if. Again, I want to also focus on, no, of course, there's always lessons learned, I tell you. I am taking this to the highest of high.
By the way, folks, subscribers, right now we have a poll. Should Governor Newsom and Mayor Bass resign? We have a poll, subscribers right now in the chat. 86% of you say yes, 14 no. Almost 1,000 of you have voted. You can vote right now. Head in there in the chat and vote.
How the LAFD and our entire region could do better in the future. Let me be very, very clear. The other piece is what and how quickly we were able to surge, not only with the limited capacity within the fire department. Thank God for our agencies around us. That happened so quickly without delay with a phone call. We got the resources where we needed to do the greatest good at that time.
Thank you. We're gonna go ahead and transition. I'm sorry.
All right. What do you guys think of that? So far, our poll says, should Governor Newsom and Mayor Bass resign? 86%. Yes. 14 no. 14 no. We're going to go into Joe Biden's farewell speech. I'm dropping the link in the comments right now. Click on there. Get ready for that. It's a completely different video. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. You will also be redirected that way, but sometimes it doesn't work. What do we know so far, right, folks? Here's some of the facts. According to Fox News, 1 week has passed since massive and deadly fires broke out in Los Angeles area, forcing tens of thousands of residents to flee for safety as their homes and businesses were destroyed. Number 2, officials say that at least 24 are confirmed victims and that the number is expected to rise. Dozens are reported missing. Terrible. Small fires have broken out since Monday, but heroic efforts from the firefighters have prevented them from growing as large as the Palisade and Eaton fires, which are responsible for most of the destruction. The National Weather Service has issued a particularly dangerous situation fire warning for Southern California for early Wednesday morning until the afternoon. It's almost the afternoon. So that's almost it, I guess. I'm not an expert. Don't take my word for it, but it's almost it. So this next minute, I'm going to take it to the conversation to you all. Let me know in the comments before we start our next video. Do you have any questions? Any comments? No water burnt down LA. Direct energy weapon. I don't know about that one. You don't have to put that twice, though. Microwave beams. You don't have to be capital either. Please. We see your comments. All righty. Here's the link, folks. I'm dropping the link. Head over there right now. Head over there right now, folks. Almost 72,000 subs. Let's go. Nerd out.